Thank you for having me, TDC. I'm very excited to be here. And thank you for coming out. All right, so my name is Roth Eisenberg. I run a design studio and a blog called Swissmiss out of DUMBO, Brooklyn. And I want to introduce you to my slightly eccentric and crazy Aunt Hookie. She is pretty much the reason, I think, why I'm here today. She has been growing up in Switzerland, the catalyst of my inspiration. As you can see, she's very outgoing. She is pretty much as atypical Swiss as you can be. When you grow up in Switzerland, you are being taught to be on time and very organized, and you have to have this CV that is very streamlined, and everything has its place, and people very much care about what other people think about them. My aunt obviously doesn't. She's been at the time with her partner was a graphic designer, so not only is she very outgoing and into art and into design, but also her partner exposed me to graphic design when I was a little kid. And granted, this was pre-computer, so everything was hand-drawn, and I just kept thinking as like a 6, 7-year-old, oh my God, I can make money drawing all day. It's every kid's dream. So it's pretty much thanks to my aunt that exposed me to so much art and design in an early age that I sort of, it caught fire with me. People always ask me what it's like to grow up in Switzerland. So this is pretty much what I would see outside my window in the morning. I grew up smack middle in the countryside, cows outside my door. And this is what I would see at my breakfast table. So of course, growing up in Switzerland means you're being surrounded with very clean, gridded, white space-driven, typography-driven design. The Swiss are really obsessed with design, graphic design especially, I think. And you see that all day long, going about your day. For example, you go to the train station, and you see this really amazingly designed system, the railway information system, also at the Zurich airport, which has been designed by Joseph Briller Brockmann, I think in the 60s, and has not been redesigned ever since. So it's been absolutely timeless, beautiful Swiss design. You stand on your train platform and wait for your train, and you look at big, giant Helvetica. Helvetica is everywhere. We all know by now Helvetica means Switzerland in Latin, right? So you go shopping because you need food in your fridge, and what do you see? You see big, giant orange M Helveticas outside the store for Migros, which is one of the biggest Swiss supermarkets. And then you go and get your supermarket cart, and you look at Helvetica again, but it doesn't stop there. I mean, the Swiss really love their type and love especially their Helvetica. So I have a little story from last summer when I was in Switzerland with my husband and my daughter, and we drive down the countryside. My husband is driving, and the next thing he hears is me screaming, "Stop!" And he stops, pulls over, and is like, "What's going on?" And the next thing, I just jump out the car and I start taking pictures of garbage bags. And I come back into the car, and my husband is not a graphic designer, he's a kitchen designer. He looks at me and he goes, "So what was this about?" I said, "Look, Helvetica and garbage bags." So the Swiss take it really all the way with their typography love. But what I want to explain here is also that it's not just, the designers in Switzerland, it's like everyday people, say butchers. These are not per se beautiful branding examples, but what this shows is that these are butchers from the countryside where I'm from. We're talking towns of 3,000 people. These butchers eventually, when they started their business, went out and hired a graphic designer to do a logo that they then printed on their bags and on their storefront and their awning and on everything. I mean, when people start a business in Switzerland, they take graphic design very seriously. It's just part of what you do. You don't just pull up your computer and think, I can do this myself. There's too much respect for the trade of graphic design. So I think this is a beautiful example of how graphic design is embraced in Switzerland and accepted as just, this is what you do. You start a business, you hire a graphic designer. But not only graphic design, but also design in general. For example, this shows, these are stamps that were issued by the Swiss Postal Office celebrating design, industrial design. And this is one of my favorite stamps ever. This was if you bought an entire sheet, it looked like this big giant chocolate, and if you were rubbing it, it smelled like chocolate. But one more example to show you how much the Swiss embrace art and design is when you look at the banknotes. I mean, if a nation wants to show how much they respect design, you just put it on your money. I mean, there's Le Corbusier, the architect, there's Giacometti, there's Sophie Teuber art. I mean, this pretty much sums it up. So this is kind of like a little bit of a story of me growing up and being influenced by Swiss design. In '99, I talked my parents into supporting me coming to New York for 3 months and do a 3-month internship. I came here very naively, and I had one interview lined up in a studio. To be honest, thought I could just walk into design studios and say, hey, I'm Tina, do you want to see my portfolio? I didn't know about doorman and security and stuff. So I had one interview lined up. So in this interview, I got through my address book, calling up people frantically, writing people, friends and whatever, hoping somebody has a connection, touting to everyone on the street basically in Switzerland that I'm looking for an internship in New York, which I think my network value at the time, I maybe reached 65 people. That's just a guess I'm taking, right? I was very lucky. I got an internship right away, the first one I had to do. So then I was in New York for 3 months, and my network in New York was 0. I didn't know anyone, but I didn't care because they were supermarkets. And I can't even tell you how much time I spent in them. I would work in my internship during the day, and then I would go home and just peruse the aisles and look at packaging. I was the perfect Swiss neutral consumer. Like there were all these brands I've never seen. And I mean, there's nothing better for a graphic designer or someone that is into packaging and typography than to put you into a supermarket where you don't know any brands. I cannot tell you how long it took me to figure out in front of the detergent aisle which one I should buy. Because I was standing there, I've never been influenced by any commercials. My parents didn't have any of these brands, so there was no influence whatsoever. So you're standing there, and I kept thinking, what did these marketing people think? So why should I buy you blue one or you orange one? I had so much fun, you have no idea. After a few different design studios, I eventually landed at what at the time was called Plum Design. Some of you might remember. And I was part of the blue team, as you can see. And that pretty much, I must say, was kind of the catalyst for my career when it comes to design and web design. And I got to work on very geeky stuff. This was like a visualization tool for a pharmaceutical client in Jersey. Just imagine a company comes to you with lots of data on an Excel spreadsheet and says, can you make this usable? And we turned this into this. And people had tears in their eyes when they saw the functioning prototype. I got to rebrand ThinkMap. Actually not rebrand, just redesign everything around it. Like Plum Design changed their name into ThinkMap to focus on their ThinkMap software. I got to do everything that was related to that. And I got to design everything related to the visual thesaurus. Some of you might be familiar with this really cool 3D thesaurus application. I got to do the packaging and everything else that was related marketing-wise with the visual thesaurus. So this was hands down, I think, the most exciting and most challenging project I've ever worked on. And then in 2006, I figured it's time to start my own studio. I found a space in DUMBO and started Swissmiss Studio. And lucky me, my first client was DUMBO. They hired me to do their intranet, their staff site. And I worked on several other interactive sites. And this one is going to launch on Sunday, I hope. You're probably all sitting here thinking, well, wait a second, what about the blog? I just want to make sure you all know I'm also a designer. Some people forget that I actually design. So the story of my blog, as a designer working in all these design studios, I will come in the morning with my coffee and my bagel, and what does everybody do? You have a peek at the internet. You look what's new, what's happening. And as Swiss as I am, I was very organized. I would put everything into bookmark folders, like very nicely, neatly organized. The only problem is that I cannot remember something by name for the life of me. If I have a visual, I can. So I figured, you know what? I need to actually start a visual archive for myself because I cannot find anything. And the next best thing, of course, was a blog. And don't ask me why, but I just started it on Typepad. I guess I must have been reading someone's blog, and I figured, well, then let's do it on Typepad. And this was kind of the first iteration of Swissmiss, and then in very early 2009, I redesigned the blog and made a custom theme, and that's what you see these days. How many of you have not been on my blog? It's okay, I'm not taking it personal. Okay. I just want to give you a little bit of a story on what my blog is about when people ask me. Basically, I try to explain my blog in the way that I'm posting about design-related things. I'm trying to look at the world through the glasses of design. And that can be in a very broad range, from architecture, graphic design, typography, or just articles that are somewhat design-related. Because in the end, anything is pretty much design. So it's a very broadly curated space. And it's very personal. I want to give you a few examples. For example, here I want to give you a few examples of things I post about. Art, a lot of resources for designers, a lot of gadgety stuff, illustrators, design again, articles that make me think, lots of Swiss stuff, of course. I'm a mother of 2, so I love to post about kids' here furniture. And something I have a lot of fun with every now and then is like I ask my readers a question. For example, here I have a 3-month-old at home. My husband and I, when I was about 7 months pregnant, were stuck on the naming of our kid. So I said, why don't we crowdsource it? And I put a post up saying, hey, help us name our son. It has to be a 4-letter name. I must say that I admit the minute I posted it, I got a little self-conscious because I figured, okay, this is a little insane. And but people were completely into it. The last time I checked, I think I had 312 comments now. Duplicate that by about 4 names each. So we had a huge pot to pick from. And again, of course, typography-related things. And I always like to post things that make me laugh. So, and as we are in the typography realm of the TDC, I figured I just want to show you, in case you don't care about all the other stuff, because you're so hardcore into typography, what you can do is you can go to my blog, you click on category filters, you click on typography, and you click filter. And then you only see typography-related posts. For example, it would then look like this. Okay? You can bookmark that URL, and if you come back, you only see typography stuff, in case you're not care. I just want to give you a few examples of what kind of posts you'll find in the typography section. This is, for example, I was at Wheaton Kennedy in Portland, and this huge wall, I don't know if you're familiar with it, it's so cool. This is made with thumbtacks, like thousands and thousands of thumbtacks. Then I love, of course, kids-related typography items. This poster is simply amazing. Very smart serif tote bag. I'm all for crafty stuff, make your own 3D font. This definitely made me smile. Then this is a typeface I just discovered the other day, and I emailed the designer, and he goes, oh my god, I just posted it. Why is it already on your site? This is weird. So, and of course, I love a lot of products that are typography related. This is on our living room table, and accessories. So you get about an idea what kind of things I like to post about. This is a question I get a lot, so where does she find all that good stuff? Sorry, it's so dark in here when the black slides come. I basically have four sources. The first one is submissions. I'm very lucky in that my readers kind of know what I like, and they sent me, I would say, between 30 and 60 submissions a day. So in the morning I usually come in and I check my submissions inbox. And there's nothing I like more is that when I see a subject line say, I saw this and it made me think of you. Because usually that's a full-on guarantee that there's something good in there. Then number 2 is referring sites. I check my stats, and usually what I do is I go to the very bottom and I try to find new blogs that pop up that link to me. Because I find that every day there's so many new blogs that emerge. There's so many good people with a good eye. And I really like to support the new blogs, because I pick something up from them and I give them credit, then they get a huge spike in traffic, then they get so excited that then they start feeding this channel. So it's like this self-feeding machine. And then of course bookmarks. I'm a little old school. I every now and then try my best with RSS readers and then I fail. And I have this like really old school system where I have like 4 bookmarks folders in my bookmarks bar with each about 80 bookmarks. So in the morning I come in and I say open in tabs and I go and make a coffee, and then the internet breaks down for everyone else. And then I go through my sites through tabs, and I know it's very old school, but I'm a typical designer. I love to see a blog in its environment that it was planned for, because I think there's something to be said that a blog has a visual language, or just there's more to it than just like the pure RSS feed. And then of course Twitter has become huge for me. Like I get so much of what I'm posting through Twitter. If you follow the good people, it's the best source of blog posts. And then this is a big one. People love to know how many readers I have. So in 2005, the numbers are really small. 2006 I had 718,000 uniques. 2007 it's over 2 million. 2008 it was almost 4. In 2009 it was over 6 million. This is like Switzerland. It's crazy. And then this year? No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. And then I just want to show you, I mean, this to me is mind-boggling every day. So I have about 30,000 unique readers a day, and then I have 55,000 subscribers that are through my RSS, and I have, today it went up to 60,000 Twitter followers. So that is just, to me personally, mind-boggling that with one tweet or post, so with my address book, people I know, with my blog post, with Twitter, I can reach about 144K with one message. 144,000 people. That to me, to be very honest, is so humbling and it scares me. The more I think about it, and remember, this is what it was like in the beginning when I came here. Because I realized with that power comes a lot of responsibility, and I'm very well aware of that. So how much time does she spend blogging? So I tried to make it a little visual. So red is when I blog. So I come into the studio, then have this outburst of blogging, and then I realize, oh, I have client deadlines. And then I start working, and then I have like withdrawal, and I start blogging in between. And then usually around 4, I have this major, like, I need a coffee and a cookie, and I need to blog moment. And then later in the evening. But then, of course, we all know we have clients and we have deadlines. So there's days where I blog before my kids get up, and then I work all day, and then I blog when they go to bed. And to be very honest, this would be my future dream Swissmiss day, where I basically blog about 4 hours, 5 hours, and the rest is client work, but the client is me. I actually am making my first baby steps towards that goal, and I don't know if any of you know of this to-do app that I came out with called To-Do. Is any one of you using this to-do application? No. Okay. It's todo.com. We're making a little fun. We couldn't find a URL name with to-do in it. They're all taken. So we made a little fun of the pronunciation, how the French would pronounce it. So I hope I'm not offending anyone. So it's todo. I hope you can see it. So basically, this is what happened out of a lunch conversation in my collaborative workspace. We were talking about all these to-do applications that are out there, and we were all putting in our 2 cents. And I said, you know what, guys? They all have too many bells and whistles for me. I tried them all, and they're great, but they have too many bells and whistles, and I need something very simple. And I started sketching out. I said, this is my workflow. I need a week in front of me. I need to be able to cross things off. There's nothing better than crossing an item off. It's like this, like, yes, right? And I need to see that, you know? I need this visual gratification. And I need to have a someday bucket, because there's stuff always floating in my head, and I need to put it somewhere, because then I feel better, right? So we sketched it up, and then Cameron said, you know, just design it, I'll build it. So as I designed it on the next day, and on the day after, we had a working prototype. And then the more people saw it, they were like, I want to use it, I want to use it. So we built it so it was somewhat solid, and I made a little website for it. And for anyone who, you should watch the video, it's really funny if you go on the site. And you will see that by just watching the video that we just had fun with it, and we were never expecting what happened. Like what happened, there was no ways. Anyway, so I posted it in December last year. Made a little post saying, hey guys, we want to share this to-do app that we made. It's free. Let us know what you think. 2 hours later, we were on Fast Company, which called us the web's most beautiful to-do list. And we were a little bit in shock. And then we just sat there all day checking the stats, and then fit there and Fireball into it, and Seth Godin, and so on and so on and so on. And the next thing we knew, it's like 4 months later, and we have 85,000 users. And everybody's screaming just one thing, iPhone app. So nobody's seen this yet. Okay, this is hopefully coming out soon. I must say it was a very humbling experience to be designing in a very new environment. So I hope that the iPhone app is coming out soon. So these are my first steps towards being my own client. So what's the secret of Swissmiss? So people always ask me, why are you more successful than others? Why are you standing out more? Why are you getting more, coverage and whatever? And while I don't know the answer, I can only guess, and my guess is that Swissmiss is one person, one voice, one eye. It's people love, this is what I hear, people tell me they love that when they come to my blog, they know who's behind it, they seem like they're connecting with me, they feel like they know me. If you like my aesthetics, you're probably going to like some of the stuff I'm posting, so I guess a lot of people embrace the clean, minimal, white space driven design. And I try to keep things very upbeat. It's very, as you can see, visual, so it's a perfect little 5-minute break when you have a little slump in your work or whatever, workday. And also one thing that I try to convey is that I want to keep it very approachable. I want to be very approachable. And I want to keep it somewhat personal, because I think that's what people connect with. For example, there's a category called personal, and the other day I clicked on it and I looked through and it's like, oh my god, I'm actually revealing quite a bit of me. But that's why I realized people feel like they know me. And as I said before, I'm reaching a lot of people, right? And I've gotten to realize that I really need to use that reach very carefully. And from the beginning, even, I've always had this emphasis on trying to feature people that have an idea and just go for it. There's nothing I admire more than someone that has an idea and just does it. And it doesn't matter what people say, and it doesn't matter if they have the money for the prototype or whatever, they just do it because they believe in an idea. There's nothing I admire more. And I've always featured people like that. For example, this guy sent me this picture, and I didn't realize these were prototypes at the time. He sent me the picture of these are molds where you can either do ice, you can make ice, or you can bake in them. And I actually didn't think much. I was like, this is really cool, I'll put it up. And 2 days later, I got an email from him saying, oh my god, you changed my life. Urban Outfitters picked me up. So now he has a whole slew of products. And it's so exciting. Or this is one of my favorite stories right now. A few weeks ago, I was at the 99% conference. And one of the speakers had this really cool quote up by this guy named Keller from Southwest Airlines. He said, we have a strategic plan, it's called doing things. And I thought that was such a cool quote. So I tweeted it. Then this guy in Baltimore was a letterpress printer, saw it, and jumped on his press and made this poster, and then sent it to me, and then I blogged it, and then within an hour I think he was sold out, and now he has like a waiting list from, I don't know, 300 posters. But where again, this is really cool chain reaction of design steps, which makes me so happy, and I'm happy for him, He had an idea to make a poster out of it, and I wish him all the success in the world, and I hope he's going to sell thousands and thousands. As you can tell, I'm kind of all about connecting people, but not just virtually. Eventually I realized there has to be more to it than just a virtual, very abstract way of connecting people. And I'm renting out desks in my collaborative workspace. I'm renting out 6 desks. And it very organically grew into this mini agency. We have designers, developers, copywriters, interior designers, illustrators. On a busy day, it looks like this. And as I said, we have interior designer, developer, another developer, copywriter. So we basically could take on a really big client because we have every craft there is. And for example, right now, one of them is leaving, and I put out another post and tweet saying a desk is opening up, and then I put in parentheses, we're dreaming of an iPhone developer. And sure enough, today we got this email, we were all jumping up and down, we just hope he's going to like us and we don't like him, but it would just be this perfect addition now to our space if we had an iPhone developer. So this is my connecting people in my work environment. And then about 1.5 years ago, I started a networking lecture series, breakfast series called Creative Mornings. I started it out of the reason because I always got these emails from students and junior people saying, you go to all these conferences and I'm so envious, and I can't afford it, my boss wouldn't send me, and you see all these great speakers. So I figured, you know what, why don't we start a free breakfast series where we invite speakers. You can go in before work, and it's all free. It's very important to me that it is free. so it's accessible for everybody. And we had really amazing speakers, for example, Zach Klein, we had Michael Beirut, here we had an event at Google. They're always hosted at different spaces, which is also very cool. And last year I took it to Switzerland. We had it at the Freitag factory, the cool Freitag bags. So this was a long way of saying that in some way I feel like I'm kind of a virtual, digital and hooky. And if I can inspire people just a tenth of what she inspired me as a kid, then it was all worth it. Well, thank you.